you're tired of loving with nobody to love. Nobody. So just cry, somebody. No leaving this party with nobody to love. Nobody.
This bitch just stole my moment.
I stole it from him.
Oh my god, the disrespect! But you sounded so good.
I did take it.
You did.
I was like, did I steal this? I did. I was like, is it stealing if it was never offered?
Yes. If it wasn't offered.
If it wasn't up for grabs and you take it, that means you're stealing.
That's the definition of
crime.
stealing. Of crime. But you sounded so good.
Thanks.
So I guess I can forgive you.
I don't know why. When I was watching this episode of what's Summer House,
What's the show we're going over?
and I was watching Lexi, I was like, "Damn, girl." So that song popped into my head earlier.
Lexi's a baddie, though. Did you watch What Happens Live?
No, Brandon. Of course I didn't. I don't even know when it happens live.
Right after. They have it on Peacock.
Oh, but okay. Remember, I was like, it's streaming right after?
Not right. It's not streaming right after. The next day.
Oh, we can stream Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What's this connection? Oh, you didn't know that was also on Peacock.
Yeah, because remember, I was like, do they show this on TV?
Yes.
So I was like, do I have to watch What Happens Live on TV because I don't have cable?
We did have this discussion once, and I was very confused what she was saying. She was like, "Wait, is it on TV?" And I'm like, well, "Yeah, it's on TV, but then like you can watch it."
Streaming only, or live TV, or both?
Both.
Got it. I should be watching Watch What Happens Live.
You should be. It's pretty good.
Is this the one where Cynthia was on too?
She was
So
on.
was Cynthia and Lexi?
No. Oh no, she was on this week. It wasn't this episode.
Wait, it happens every day?
Yes.
Oh damn. Andy, you busy.
Most days it happens. I think like Sundays through Thursday.
Oh, like
So he gets 2 days off.
like a Friday night, like a Jimmy Fallon or a Jimmy Kimmel,
like
but
almost like an after show, if you will, of sorts, like late night. But he has games that nobody asked for that aren't even that good. But
okay.
But Lexi was
didn't
on,
start
and she
watching.
looked so good. And honestly, I'm a Lexi stan, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'm loving her.
Stan, Brandon, really?
She had abs for days.
This episode?
On Watch What Happens Live. Maybe
Oh.
also this episode.
Oh, okay.
And then I just like how she carries herself. I think she's very she has a mature, and maybe I saw this more in Watch What Happens Live, but also on the show, a very mature mindset as far as like she's very communicative.
Yes.
And I think that's good.
Yeah.
And I think, other people aren't, which we'll get into. But
Poor girl.
I know she's going through it.
She'll
but
be all right.
She'll be all right. She seemed good on Watch What Happens Live. So.
Okay, good.
Okay, we got a lot on the docket today. What do we want to start with?
Kenya more hair. Kenya more hair. Kenya more hair.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all. Okay, so I'm not watching Atlanta.
I am.
Brandon's watching all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I have grown tired of the Housewives. I just need a break. Maybe a permanent break, but we'll see. Because like after watching this episode of Atlanta, it made me want to pick it up. So,
It's good this season.
Thankfully, with TikTok, I essentially watched all of the things I needed to see. Mm-hmm. So this episode, they aired the big debacle that got Kenya fired.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you what I understand.
Yes.
Kindly fill in the blanks.
Of course.
And we will break this down together.
Yes.
So there's a girl named Britt.
Yes, she's new.
Britt is new. Mm-hmm. And I saw the first time they met.
Yes.
And Kenya was saying things to Britt that sounded shady. I don't necessarily know if they were supposed to be shade. She said something like, "Oh, is your husband the father of your kids?"
No, she said, because Britt had a ring, and she was like, "Oh, are you engaged?" And she's like, "No, I'm married. I've been married for however many years." And she's like, "Oh, you don't have your like wedding band on, or your like second ring?" And she's like, "Oh, this is like custom or like he's making a new one. I don't know. And then I don't know. Britt said something confusing about like she's making a new ring, and then she was like, "Well, were you married before?" Like there was some confusion.
Yeah, she's like, "Is this your first husband or something like that?"
Yeah, and then it really wasn't that bad at all.
Because I feel like if Kenya was being shady,
yeah,
I didn't feel like it was shady. But is that where the beef started?
For Britt, apparently.
Okay.
It did. She was clung like, to that moment.
Right now.
Yes. It's like, all right. And then what's another moment you saw? The next one.
So the next thing I see is them at a restaurant.
I think
was it a restaurant?
It might have been another place. I'm blanking where it actually was. But Angela Oakley hosted. Mm-hmm. And
who's that?
She's married to Charles Oakley. He's a athlete.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know who he was, but she acts like we all should know who he is.
I'm that bitch, Yavana from Clark. Okay, go ahead.
Everyone knew who I was.
I was that bitch.
I am so sorry, ma'am. I did not know you.
And her husband's just like,
oh. Atlanta is amazing. But so she hosted it, and then they were playing a game with like questions. Mm-hmm. And there was the question like, oh, is Kenya gonna speak nicer to Britt or capable of speaking nice to Britt?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes. I saw that.
Yes.
And Kenya left? She didn't answer?
Well, she did answer. She said, of course, I speak nice to everyone, or I can speak nice to everyone. Because I guess before that, Kenya went to hug Britt. And there was a pat involved. And Britt was like, oh, she's patting my back now.
Oh, gosh.
She's just every little thing.
Is your middle name Jocelyn? It's giving Jocelyn like...
Who are you coughing at, ho?
Why you breathe at me like that? Taking everything offensively.
Like I'm a germ? Oh, Jocelyn.
You don't have to be on guard, Britt. So I saw that. Mm-hmm. And then Kenya... did Kenya leave abruptly? Or it was just the end of the day?
They had... a back and forth.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Where
I just saw her leaving.
Yeah, Kenya was like, I can speak to everyone respectfully. And Britt was like, well, the question says Britt, not everyone. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can speak to everyone respectfully. Mm-hmm. And then Britt and her were going back and forth. Kenya said something like, she was like, oh, you want a moment? And then Britt was like, no, you want a moment. She's like, no, I am the moment. Something like that. And then Kenya's like, a queen doesn't worry about peasants. Like, it was very like, it was light though. It was light, nothing crazy. And especially if you've seen Kenya, that was nothing. And honestly, that was nothing for a lot of the franchises. That was really nothing. Yeah,
so it was kind of giving like Britt is creating a problem, wanting to have the upper hand.
Yes.
So Kenya leaves. They're all leaving.
Yeah, because Britt's like popping off.
Oh, so she started yelling and carrying on?
Yeah, she was like, oh, don't call me a peasant, all this. And then it shows them all leaving. And it's weird because some podcasts pointed this out, how they never really show people leaving like this. Like showing them
we never see the parking lot.
Yeah.
So it was a hot mic moment.
Kind of.
Because she starts referencing, saying, I have pistols, I have pew-pews. And my husband is coming. And then she like called him and was like, do you have the items? Do you have the pew-pews with you?
Yeah.
And then like we see Kenya getting in her car. We see him pull up, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, it was like the husband had showed up, and then Britt was just talking a lot, and then Portia was like, Kenya, ride with me, and I think it was her and Shamia, they all left together, and Kenya was just like, this bitch is crazy. Like, she's talking about pistols. And
so she heard her.
She heard her. And then Portia was like, did she really? And she's like, yes, she's a problem. I questioned some people because I think Kelly said she didn't. She's another new housewife. She was like, oh, I didn't hear her say all this, but she was, I feel like, next to her the whole time. It was very weird how they treated this. But yes, so Kenya heard the pistols and the whips comment.
Okay.
Yes.
And so is her event the next day?
I think it's a few days later, maybe a week, but it's the next episode.
Okay, did they have any conversations in between she and Britt?
No. I guess Britt had talked to some of the other ladies where they explained, you need to talk to Kenya because you like said all this. And Britt was like, I would never want anyone to think I would threaten them or say things like this and all that.
Oh boy.
And apparently,
Was she drunk?
Probably.
Okay.
But like Kenya, from what Kenya said, she went to production and
I heard this
it
too.
wasn't taken seriously. Which to me, okay.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's tough. I feel like production is the most at fault.
Yeah.
And then Kenya.
That's true. On multiple counts.
Yes. And then Britt. Because though Britt did the initial. So what else did you see? You saw the event?
I saw the event.
Okay. So then in between then, there was no talking.
Okay.
But Britt did show up to the event. Did you see that part?
I saw that. She brought flowers.
And Kenya ignored her, which I thought was fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what you do. Like, I think Cynthia mentioned this somewhere. She was like, if it were me and I felt threatened, I would tell production, she's not allowed anywhere I'm at if you're going to keep her on this show.
Yeah.
I'm not inviting her anywhere. And to me, that's perfectly valid and fair. If production's not going to do that, make you feel safe, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I see Britt come in, drop off flowers. Kenya starts the event with a speech.
Yes.
And Britt leaves.
Yes. Britt left before Kenya even mentioned her, I think.
Okay, yeah. And so the conversation is super proud. This is all for my daughter. Super proud of this event and all that we've worked for Kenya More Hair Care. And I appreciate everybody who has trusted me and been there for me. But recently, some people have been like, she was essentially talking about my like genuineness, but I don't know who they are. So let's learn about these people who I don't know, essentially, right?
Yeah. Well, she also says stuff like, this girl wanted to have a moment, but I pay her dust. And then...
You paid her your job.
Paid her a lot.
More than dust. So she breaks out the cards that are all bleeped out. And I don't know about you, but if that was me, I would have so I think initially Britt's closest friend leaves first.
Yes, I think it was Kelly, who's a new housewife. They're close. And she left because the first poster was something like insurance fraud hoe and was like something related, I think, to her job and maybe other pictures of her. And then Kelly was like, I'm out of here. Everyone's been a hoe before. Yeah. And then she meets Britt outside and then they leave. Yeah.
And I don't think she even told Britt what.
At least not then, I don't think.
And so then she keeps going down through these like DIY poster boards of printed out internet images of Britt in nefarious positions. I think one of them she was like doing a sexual act.
Yeah, they were explicit.
Very explicit. All of them are bleeped out. And the cast slowly leaves, except for Cynthia. So Portia leaves, Shamia leaves. They're all outside. And they look uncomfortable. And to be honest, if I was there, I would be so disturbed. Like,
yeah,
what do you do? Like, it's just I don't want to involve. Like, nobody wants a dick pic, right? You don't want to get sent a random dick pic unsolicited. I don't want to see any of this stuff of this person
on a big poster board
in front of I want to say to at least 100 people.
A decent
maybe
amount.
2. There were a lot of people there. And everyone's jaw is dropping. They're just like, it's not funny. It's not even interesting.
Just awkward.
It's awkward. It's like...
It's like really falling flat. Portia's telling the camera people, like, pretend like I wasn't even here.
Yeah.
Like,
She's
this
like,
is crazy.
Take my mic off. I want to go home. Like... that would just make me feel so uncomfortable, unsolicited,
Yeah.
all of these images. And somebody also said too that like that's low-key assault, like just forcing people to witness something is also like against their will. Like that's not okay either. So she does this, and once she's like, I feel like once she got to there was like 4 or 5 posters. Maybe by the third one, half the people are gone. Everybody just slowly leaves.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know where her head was at with this.
I don't know either.
Because Cynthia then tells, like, you are better than this. Like, nobody wants to see this. Like, you're dropping down so low. And Kenya's like, I am better than this. And it's like, then why did you do it?
Why did you do it?
And she was seeing red because people were trying to tell her even before that first, like the last one. Because, you know, the first ones, it's like, oh, different pictures of her. But they were just like, she was trying to like shade her for looking different.
Oh, yeah. She was like showing maybe that she had gotten work done.
Yeah, which fucked up, but not like fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And then the other one, something about her job. Okay.
Yeah.
But then by the third one, it was like... But before that, before she even got to like the third one, I think like Shamia was like, what are you doing? Like, you're better than this. Or maybe she even said it after. I don't know. And she's like, she threatened me with a gun. Like, no.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, I
something
do
like
remember
that. And it's just like, you're not even like, she wasn't there. If you really look at like, it was just like I don't know what happened.
She's like, I already printed it out, Shamia. Gotta share with the class. I have 3 more. Just wait a second.
I hit the paint hard. I gotta show it all.
Yeah, so when Cynthia approaches her, because everybody else just leaves, Cynthia, I believe, is the last. It was Cynthia and I think Drew.
Yeah, I think Drew was still there.
And Cynthia is just like, no. And Kenya's like, yeah. But Kenya even looked unsure. Like, by the end, so typically when Kenya is on her Zoom and reading people to filth, she's standing on it. She looks confident. She's not backing down. And even when she was talking to Cynthia, I feel like she could sense that she did too much.
Yeah.
Maybe she's reading the room. Everybody's uncomfortable and they're leaving. Like, this is not...
Right. It's like
this is not
empty
the
and it's
move.
just them sitting there.
Right. So I saw an interview of... Cynthia was on Watch What Happens Live.
Yes.
I don't think she's spoken to Kenya much.
No, she said she hasn't really heard from her since the event.
She's like reached out but hasn't heard.
Yeah.
When was this event?
I think definitely sometime last year.
Okay.
Probably a year ago at this point.
Yeah, because I remember... Well, we were doing the podcast because I remember you
Yes.
telling me about it.
So I would say a year ago.
When
at
did we
least.
start? Has it been a year?
It's been over a year. I know.
We had an anniversary!
We did. I learned from like TikTok because of like memories. They were like 1 year ago. It's like a year.
Happy 1 year, Brandon.
Yeah, happy 1 year.
So it was a while ago, but I saw an old interview of Kenya with some talk show that I've never seen before.
Is this the one where she was talking about Nene and how the networks showing that they don't care about you and that
I only saw a couple clips,
Okay.
but the host was black. I have never seen her before.
when she went on Tamron Hall.
That's Tamron Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I really don't know anything. That's funny because over the summer when I went to Connecticut, remember when I went to Connecticut and I went to see Hamilton?
Yes.
The day I went to see Hamilton, my cousins went to see Tamron Hall.
Oh.
And I like don't know who that is, didn't think to look it up, was just like, oh, that's cool, that's fun.
Great.
But yeah, so she was essentially on Tamron Hall saying that she talked to production and felt like production didn't do anything for her. Mm-hmm. And so she took matters into her own hands and that she felt threatened. So that's her general narrative. Mm-hmm. My thing is, if I'm threatened by you, why would I provoke you? I don't think you felt... So let's define threatened. You weren't threatened. Your safety wasn't threatened. It was like your pride and your ego was threatened. So you wanted to do something. You know what I mean? Like, she feels threatened by this girl's existence and the things that she's been saying. Emotionally threatened. So you did something to tell this girl to not mess with you and to back down and to, took it entirely too far. But yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like, if it's all about the pew pew, why would you poke the bear?
It's just confusing because, okay, I can believe that if she said she felt threatened, okay, I'll believe you. And like, if production didn't take it seriously, sure. Because I guess at the time, Britt released a statement before, like, when this happened, that she never threatened anyone.
That's not true.
That's not true. And it's also confusing as to why, because I think someone said a source close to production said the same thing. So for them to show the actual threat confused people.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we thought this didn't happen.
Maybe because she didn't say it to Kenya's face?
I mean, she was looking at her. Kenya was just not looking at her. So I don't know.
That's interesting.
But I think so. And I can understand you go to production and they're not taking you seriously and like feeling like slighted and feeling like you need to take matters into your own hands. I don't know how we get to this.
Right. She's never stooped that low before.
No. And it's just like, how is that mitigating the threat?
Right. It's not.
It's not at all. And it's like, what are you exposing that she like did stuff? Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't, if you feel threatened for your life, I'm not going to be like, well, here's this picture of you. That doesn't make sense. Again, it's like what Cynthia said. I would just make sure you're not where I'm at.
Yeah.
If production's going to be like this, then I'm going to.
Yeah.
Which it's fucked up production.
Yeah.
Too.
Because that could have been the thing. That could have been her standing on business. And then maybe afterwards production would take it a little more seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't agree with what Britt said, but what Kenya did is extremely unnecessary. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of exasperated a situation. You wanted to embarrass her. Yeah. And you embarrassed yourself.
She did. She went out sad. And it's like Kenya is like such like a long running housewife, like well loved.
And from that Tamron Hall interview, it sounded like she felt like it was unjustified. Like it almost sounded like she doesn't agree. I don't know what she feels today, but
I think she listens to like her delusional fans on Twitter, like hyping her up, just like, oh, you were pushed. And it was just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you were pushed to do that.
Especially because I don't care. Like, I don't care if it's, maybe she didn't feel it was genuine, but Britt was trying to apologize to you, brought you flowers the day that you were going to do this. Like, maybe you two could have had a conversation after the fact. You could have saved the posters for later and just talked to her. So essentially, she's waving the flag, saying, she's waving her white flag, I'm not fighting with you anymore. And you're like, no, I don't care, and continue on. So that doesn't make sense. That's not a reply to somebody who's threatened. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's just, it doesn't equate, and it just doesn't go with the narrative of feeling threatened.
No.
And I don't want to take away, because I'm sure maybe she did feel threatened in the beginning, because that was like wild. Like, and honestly, I've heard other people say, Kenya just played this wrong. She could have just played the victim.
She could have.
Because people were on her side after the episode where Britt made the threats.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but then she just ruins it because she does something that's so like bad.
Yeah. No, you could have stood on business, told production I'm not filming with her, and you know, and see how it goes. You are the long-standing cast member. You have more power in negotiation than she does. After Phaedra did all that stuff to Candy and it was just words, she was like, I don't want to be near her. Yeah. And guess what? Phaedra's not on the show, right? Like, you could have used your power there, but maybe she felt I guess she felt like she shouldn't, but man, it was just very childish, very immature, didn't really solve anything, and you lost your job. So
yeah,
some people are saying maybe she'll come back.
Oh no, people were thinking it, and she says Andy seems open, but I don't know, with her behavior online afterwards, where she's kind of standing in it, despite tossing in I'm sorry, I know I took it too far, in the middle of justifying everything she did. And then, like, she's apparently, because she didn't get any confessionals this season, she's apparently gonna, like, she started a YouTube channel where she's gonna do her own confessionals.
Hey, look, I don't blame you. Like, I mean, you lost your job.
YouTube, there's a bag in YouTube.
Yeah.
So, like, you gotta do something.
I get it.
But so maybe she'll get more details as far as communications with the production and all that.
I will say, on Tamron Hall, she did say she took it too far, but she was also defending herself. Yeah. She was trying to put us in her mindset at the time. And I just don't feel like that's cute. Like,
yeah,
I get, so the saying, like, your feelings are valid, sometimes our feelings aren't valid. Like,
right.
At the time I was thinking this and I was wrong and I should not have, you know what I mean? So,
and then it's just like, at your own opening for your event, you just ruined the opening that you used your daughter's, like, money to, like, make. It just doesn't make sense.
And it's more than that. It's so now it's your job on the show, your brand, and your public image. All of those three things are affected by your public image, right? So who's gonna buy Kenya more hair? I wasn't going to before, but I'm definitely not going to now.
I wasn't a future customer, but
like, you know what I mean? It's negatively influencing everything. And then even what you just said, like, now you have to go, you're thinking about going to YouTube. Will the show take you back? Like, how you're standing on things is affecting your whole bag for what? You know, it wasn't worth it. But I also heard people saying that production had to know that she was going to do this.
That part, someone had to see that she had the poster boards.
They were in plain sight next to her.
They weren't exactly modest.
Yeah.
They were rather big.
What in the DIY?
I can't. I'm like, when did you
So
do
you know
that?
what's so funny? When you initially told me this happened, I imagined like a screen coming down and
like a projector
with images, photos and videos on a big, you know, something. I was like,
she said poster board.
Not these poster boards from Walmart. She was like, yo, throw this. And that's what I'm also thinking is, like, you didn't think this through. You just threw that together.
Yeah.
Who put this together for you?
I don't know. She was ill-advised. She didn't have any true friends with her. Had she had Cynthia by her, Cynthia would have talked her out of it, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was a misstep.
Fumbled the bag,
and
sis.
I mean...
Okay. I've never really liked Kenya. I've always thought that she was just really mean. Like... I for some reason I can't even remember why specifically, but I just remember her always taking it too far. Her always pushing the envelope too much, where it just becomes distasteful. Yeah. You can defend yourself, but like how she treated
Kim Fields. She pulled her chair for like no reason.
How she would treat Portia with the whole like spell scepter and the megaphone, and it's just like you were always very mean. So it's also hard to like want to have sympathy for her, because I just feel like at her root she's a person who's gone through a lot, who's very hurt and takes it out on people in very vicious ways. And she doesn't have to be like that. Like, you give people your power when they let you get out of your character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, Kenya, you don't need to do all that. Like, look at your life. You don't need to do all that. But like, she always takes it really far. So it's also hard for me to have sympathy and see her perspective and like, oh, Britt threatened her. I think you're just mean.
I think that's...
and sad.
Mean and sad. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because Kenya does. She'll poke the bear, hide her hand, and then play victim.
Yes.
And she's done that a lot in the past. Mm-hmm. And like, Kenya's someone, you know, you grow to love. Or some grew to love, or maybe some liked her from the beginning. I don't know. She was entertaining, so there was always that factor.
Yeah. Remember when I can't remember who, it might have been Nene, and they were having an argument on vacation somewhere, and she's like, and twirl, and twirl, and like, it's
I'm gone with the wind, fabulous.
Yes, it's the obnoxious little brother or sister that just knows exactly what to say to get under your skin, and then when you hit them, they call mom and you get in trouble. You know, it's like,
yes.
It's hard to have sympathy for her, but wish her the best.
definitely do. I hope maybe she learns and takes true accountability. I will be watching her YouTube videos whenever those come out.
Yeah, I'll probably watch too. I'll watch Kenya.
Yeah, we'll watch. Will I subscribe? I don't know. But I'll watch. But yeah, so that's
that.
Kenya. That's the end of Kenya on Real Housewives of Atlanta for now. Hopefully she's able to go to the reunion. That would, I think.
Or maybe they'll let her record her video.
Oh gosh, like Karen Huger they just did.
How many episodes in are they?
5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and
so
there's
they
usually
got
like 18, 15.
Yeah, at least 15. They got more to go.
Otherwise, is a season okay?
Oh, the season's really good. Like, this is a really good season. All the new ladies are good. There's like a new aesthetic and a new vibe to it. It's really good.
Okay. I have to tune in.
You should. It's good. But yeah, you won't see Kenya again.
Damn.
But
Damn.
with that, what should we go to next?
Brandon's being bullied. Leave Brandon alone. You know what? I went to your TikTok today. And I was supposed to get in the comments and be like, start talking back to people because I saw you were. And I was like, this is crazy.
No.
Like, I don't want...
My TikTok
I don't want retaliation, but I really wanted to stand up for you. But I'm just like, you can't argue with stupid people.
No. And like, my TikTok only found these people. I'm like, where are my people?
I only saw like one person who was like, yeah, it did go down. And everybody else is like, right now. Check today. Check today. Check today. Check today. Did you check today? You should check today. You just got out of bed. Yeah, that's why the camera's in your face. Some people think they're so clever.
People are crazy.
Okay, listen, y'all. Yes, we're on this podcast. It's called The Shade of It All, and we watch people on TV and talk about what they did and cast judgment on them for their behavior on the TV show. Do I go to people's individual accounts and troll them? No. Do I troll them on any social media platforms? No. We speak our opinion, and I go to sleep. Like, I'm not doing all this.
Yes.
So, internet trolls are not in the same category. We can judge them. I'm judging them because how much it takes up so much energy to go through somebody's account, comment on something, wait for their reply, and comment again. Like, that's crazy.
The way it wouldn't end, the amount of times I open my phone and it's like 99 plus notifications, I'm like, oh my God. Like, are y'all not tired? Okay,
so at the beginning of this week, right? It was Monday, Tuesday?
Yes, it was Monday, I want to say. I have 20 notifications right now, and there's people still, I'm not reading the comments, because honestly, I stopped earlier today. They're all saying the same thing. So it's just like, what am I going to, like, there's no originality. So I posted a TikTok. So as a lot of y'all may know, Trump really affected the stock market and brought a lot of shit down. Republicans everywhere were complaining. Dave Portnoy lost $7 million. Other people were just complaining about it all, and the tariffs are wild. And so I saw some people talking about their 401k, and I'm like, let me check my 401k real quick. How was this affected? And I saw in a matter of a week, it dropped $2,000, which for me, $2,000 is my $7 million. Okay. So I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is crazy. Like, what else is he going to do? So I was just like, whatever. I'm going to make this TikTok, like a funny little TikTok. I thought making this TikTok, I was like,
it's funny.
It's funny. We'll get 300 views, the usual, like nothing crazy. If anything, I'll find some Democrats and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I know. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Well, read what you said.
So I said in the TikTok, I go,
this is why they're coming for him.
I put on it, when you check your 401k and see you lost over 2K in less than a week, WTF, I didn't vote for this whack ass president. Why can't those who did just lose their money? And
it's a video of Brandon like shaking his fist at his he's lifting a chair and pretending to throw it at his computer.
If y'all would see this, I would imagine you would see it's meant to be funny.
Yes.
It's an exaggeration.
Yes.
But
it's also true.
It's also true. There's true. And I mean, look, is it a little rage baity because I said, why can't those who voted for them be affected? Maybe.
They're like, you rank.
I didn't think they were gonna see it. I don't want the smoke. I didn't think they'd see it. I didn't. Maybe a couple would see it, but I didn't think people would see it. It wasn't meant to be like that. No. And so
MAGA's like equivalent to the Beehive. Like, what'd you say?
They're crazy.
They're like, this guy, share with the group. Make sure he deletes his account.
Which I almost deleted this video yesterday, but then my friend Mackenzie was just like, don't. It's getting so many views and comments. Just keep it on. I'm like, I know, but they're driving me crazy.
No, it's silly.
But so the video is at 229,000 views. It has 2,076 likes. I like to think those likes are in allegiance with me.
Yes.
60 favorites and 2,257 comments.
Oh.
Which honestly, quite the engagement.
The like to comment ratio.
It's pretty, almost equal. At one point, the likes were above it, and I was just like, yes. And now it's like below it, but it's so close. So I'll take it. Literally, though, you see 2,000 comments, but much like a lot of that side, a whole lot of nothing. Because all it's saying is, only 2,000? Only 2,000?
Yeah.
Are you close to retiring even? Why are you worrying about this?
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, don't take it out.
Don't take it out. Just calm down. Yeah, because I'm going to take out my 401k.
And then to everybody today was like, check today. I guess it was supposed to have gotten better.
So they were saying, there were some people saying 2 days ago, oh, this didn't age well. Check now. I lost more when I checked. Yesterday, I look and people were like, this didn't age well. Check now. I lost more. I'll say this. Check today. I gained not all of it back, but a good chunk of it back. Because it was like over 2,000. I think I gained just about 2,000 back. Which I never thought I wasn't going to get it back. I don't know where in my TikTok I said, I'm never going to get this money back. It's gone forever.
I needed it to feed my kids.
I don't remember where I ever said, oh, I'm going to cash out my 401k. And then people commenting, oh, only 2,000. I lost 80,000 and I'm not tripping. I'm like, weird flex, but okay.
Yeah.
Also, I'll say this. My video, because I was getting annoyed when people were saying that, oh, this didn't age well or check today and all that. But this is my thing. It is aging well because it's not what... Am I making a serious statement? Am I sitting in front of my phone being like, this is awful that I lost 2,000. I'm never going to get it back. All this. No, it was a funny video about something that was happening, something that did happen, something that a lot of people were complaining about. And that's it. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to then take back what I said because I got back money I knew I was going to get back.
Right.
And that it happened quickly and be like the right thanking Trump for getting their money back that he took.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know a lot about stocks and all that, so I'm not going to misspeak and say whether people got a lot or only got back what they got. I'll only speak as far as my 401k. I lost over 2k. I got back just 2k. Why would I then be like, oh, I was wrong?
I'm so sorry.
For getting back so far less
You
than what
lost
I
it.
lost. And people, the amount of people, you can't lose if you don't sell. You can't lose it if you don't sell it. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
I said lost. What should I have said other than lost? You read between, y'all.
The semantics, the playing back and forth, the I'm right and you're wrong.
Yes.
Let's grow up.
And it's just like, look, with also TikTok, how when people were like, when TikTok came back and they were like, oh, thanks to President Trump and all this. Mind you, he was the one trying to take TikTok.
Right.
So it's it seems very much, and I don't know. I can only speak as far as my 401k and my thing. Because also people being like, don't enter the stock market or don't do this and don't do that. It's just my 401k. I'm not in the stock market like that. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Emotional investors. Anyways. It's taking away something. And then when you give it back, people being like, see, we knew you were great.
Yeah.
It's like if I stole your car and then 2 days later I show back up and I'm like, here's your car back. I know you were stressed about it. I know you didn't have anywhere to go or any means of transportation for 2 days, but I gave it back. And you were just like, gee willikers, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're giving me my car back. What sense does that make? It doesn't make any. And all these like, oh my gosh, the amount, and I'm going to get mean, these ugly old white men, just ugly. And the amount of times I'm like, I was called Junior. I was called,
they
were
you
like,
boy?
Relax, Junior.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And all these like old ass boomer names. I'm like, please leave me alone. I can't with this. And it's just like, And then there was the one comment I responded to because the races revealed themselves. And someone said, Kamala would have just, they don't proofread either. So I'm going to read how it's spelled. Kamala would have just taken it all for DEI and illegals. Be thankful.
Oh.
And
it's just sad.
And the fact that had hundreds of likes.
Pathetic.
Like 200 to 300 likes last time I saw. So.
Like, yeah, she would have.
My TikTok really somehow ended up in the trash algorithm. I like literally
provoked them.
I want you to know I wrote that on my video. I have no hashtags. I have no caption.
Oh,
I just have that text in the video. So the fact that this found, because I have a suspicion about TikTok and the hashtags. I'm like, I feel like you don't need hashtags.
Yeah.
And low-key, this proves my point.
Yeah.
But of all the videos to blow up, why couldn't it have been my Zara haul? Why couldn't it have been my fit check?
It's controversial. People want the drama.
I cannot. And then the people being like, I dropped $2,000 a week shopping. And I'm like, great, run me my money back. Because I was responding in the beginning to some people. They were like, you should sell right now. And I'm like, I did. Even though I didn't, because it's a 401k. And then the person was just like, I spent $2,000 shopping. I was like, can you run me my money back then?
Yeah.
Since you have got $2,000. And then the ones when I was still losing money, and they were just like, check today. And I'm like, I did. I lost more. Thanks for checking in. Yeah. And just all this. I'm like, and it's all, literally, again, all the variations of the comments, maybe there was 3 or 4 variations. That's all there is in these 2,000 comments. So that side is unfortunately extremely unoriginal.
Uneducated.
And then it's also funny because some would comment like snowflakes and like say, emotional, or like having a temper tantrum. And it's like, it's interesting because I find that side to be so soft and so emotional.
Yes.
That you call us emotional and we get triggered. Yet this TikTok, y'all are like setting fire to it, getting so emotional, having such like a soft ass reaction to this, taking it so personally, doing all this. And it's just, we knew that, but the irony is not lost on me in all of this.
Yes. It reminds me of the guy who was on SNL like 2 weeks ago.
Morgan Wallen.
Yes. And he's like, get me back to God's country.
Take me back to God's country.
And it's like,
God.
The drama. I've never seen anyone just like walk straight through. It almost looks like the audience. Like,
he walked in front of the camera. It's like, what are you doing?
Drama queen.
No.
Yeah, they're very dramatic. Look, I don't. Yeah, it's just silly, Brandon. Do not waste your energy arguing with ignorant people.
It got to a point where I was just like, this is just too many. Like, I can't. So I'm just going to let it go. Keep the video. Get that engagement.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Got some followers, So
it's silly.
It is what it is.
I only argue with people. I'm not even going to argue with anybody. But if I feel like you're listening, we can have a talk. But in those comments, they're not hearing anything.
No.
Kamala is going to spend it on DEI and what?
Illegals.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. But hundreds of people liked it.
They listened to the highlights of whatever speech he's given, and that's what they hang their hats on. Anyway.
But so that has been my past few days this week. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I didn't know this would happen to me. It's a lot of reflection, a lot of questioning choices, a lot of standing in my truth. Yeah. A lot of just, feeling empowered, feeling bullied, but feeling stronger nonetheless. And at one point I was like, should I shout out the podcast? And I'm like, no, they can't. No.
Don't come to our account.
They'll be leaving bad reviews. Our podcast is not for them.
Oh, they would. They may do that. That'd be crazy. But
That
yeah,
would.
no, Brandon, you don't need to give them your energy. And honestly, I was looking at your account today, and I'm really proud of you. Like, you use social media and you don't care. Like, you post what you're feeling, you post your outfits, you post what you're doing. Like, and I love like, he's just having fun with it. I overthink everything, and I maybe one day I'll get there, but like, it's inspired me to just be like, nah, let me just make a video and post it.
I love that.
Go with the flow.
Yes, I've been trying to do that more lately and
That's
just like
good.
posting whatever and like, you
Yeah.
know, but thank you so much. You should post more, Maggie.
I should. I just think about things too much, and I'm afraid of being trolled and all that other stuff, but
I get that.
it's fine.
But you're funny, you're fly, you're everything.
Yeah, I could do something.
You're the moment. You could do something, Maggie.
Spends 10 days editing one video. We'll see. I got to get myself out there. I was thinking that it could be a good exercise in just like being myself, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just posting whatever.
And you know what? The comments will end. They're getting less and less.
Yeah. It's trickling down.
It's trickling down for sure.
I feel like for the next couple months, you'll probably get a couple, and then it'll just like slowly go away.
There was one point yesterday where I thought it was over, and then I got out at F45 and I checked my phone, and there was like over 100. I think it was because they were getting off of work. It was just like, look at this motherfucker, this soft ass bitch. Let me comment. Check now. You might want to check now.
It's
Bitch.
crazy.
Anyways, Allie Lewber, she's James Kennedy's ex from Vanderpump Rules. She was on the Viall Files.
I saw a clip.
And yeah, I mean, you know, it was a good interview. I watched it once. I didn't watch the full thing because at the end, I think she was talking about her new podcast and like astrology. And I'm like, I don't need to see that. But
Yeah, turning off.
she talked about James and how the relationship was tumultuous. He had started drinking again.
Yeah.
Then the night of the arrest, she wouldn't really get into too many details as far as what happened, but she said she wasn't physically hurt.
Yeah.
But I think there was another friend with them. I don't know, but she knew at that point she like couldn't be with him anymore. Mainly because he was like, even before then, because she found out he was drinking in line, but then especially after what happened, I guess.
Yeah.
But she seemed very like, you know, James is just broken. Like, he's a good person. He just needs help and like all this. And it's like, okay. And then she revealed Lisa Vanderpump tried to call her like a month or two after and was like, oh, you need to be with him. You need to get back with him because, you know, he needs you and you guys were good together. And like, Ken was bad back in the day, but you know, I like whipped him into shape and you gotta like fight it out. And then also, you know, you were drinking too that night. Like, kind of being like weird.
Lisa, what the fuck? She's
No.
always defending these trashy ass men.
Always. And funny enough, Katie was on the Viall Files today with Dana, her podcast host, and Nick had asked her about it, and she was just like, I'm not surprised. That's very much like Lisa Vanderpump. And she said, even when I was getting divorced, she like shamed me for doing it and trying to make it about her. She's like, but I wrote your vows. And she's like, so?
Bitch. He didn't keep the vows. The fuck? I don't care what you wrote.
He broke them again and again and again.
That's crazy. I wrote your vows.
I know, right?
She's manipulative.
No, she's crazy.
I don't even understand what kind of like, I want to know why she thinks like that.
She's just very misogynistic and awful.
But why? Like, okay, when I think of the concept of misogyny, it just doesn't make sense. Like, what makes you 10 toes down, stand up for men, regardless of how they act, what they say, what they do? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing, though, because they brought up in Katie's episode how, like, Lisa does this. Like, she gave the Toms a bar, Tom, but Tom Schwartz couldn't even do a shift at one of the restaurants. And then I remember that happening. It's very much because the audience loved the Toms. And so, although Lisa was being misogynistic as was the audience.
Yeah.
They loved the Toms. They hated Katie, especially that was her wedding season. And I mean, Katie was awful that season. But even regardless, like since then, Katie only recently got liked, like this past season or two. And then like even then, like people were rough on like all the other women on the shows, but they loved the guys because they were easy. And Jax, he's crazy, but like that's him and all that. It wasn't until Scandival that people opened their eyes.
And they were like, oh, wait a minute.
Truly. And even now, some people are trying to go back and like, because Katie was just like, you had fucking Tom Sandoval on your couch crying. Nobody asked for that. And Nick was like, actually, some people did. And then all the comments on the TikTok were just like, who? Who asked for this?
He was crying to Nick Viall?
I think he was crying at one point.
Maybe. I just remember him being like, yeah, I'll never, if I'm going to do this, I'm never going to do it like this. And they're like, you mean at all? And he's like, yeah, I will never do it at all. Like, retracing his freaking steps. But that's crazy that Lisa would do that. But anyways, but and she has no motivation to. There's no show. So, like, that's genuinely how she feels.
Right.
Give him, I know he beat you up and took your car and stole your money, but give him another chance. Like, no.
Lisa.
At the first sight of toxicity, you need to leave. This man needs help beyond you. You cannot get help like that from somebody in a relationship. You need professional help. And I need to be away from you because you're hurting me. You want her to endure pain just to be with James because you said she should?
It's so stupid. It's just, I don't understand Lisa at all. But Allie stood strong and she didn't go back. And like, she's very much like not getting back with him. And like, Allie seems sweet. I'm glad she got out of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure she'll have a successful podcast and everything. Good for her. You know?
Go off, queen.
Pop off. Summer House. Summertime.
Brendan.
And the living's easy. Yes.
Why don't we ever see Gabby? She's like there every other week.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, another weekend where Gabby's gone.
They're like, I'll put my stuff in Gabby's room. And that's like the only mention of Gabby. I'm like, wait, I want to get to know her and like see her. She's in the cast photo.
I know. She's a main cast member, but she's like not there that much. I'm like,
maybe it'll happen later.
Maybe. But I want her to start a podcast because I want to hear from her more too. I like her.
So from like, how do you want to break it down? You want to talk about the big things first or the little things first and then the big things?
Oh, that's a good question. There was a lot happening this episode.
There was maybe like a couple big things.
A couple big things. I think, did you enjoy this episode?
It was okay.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was funny.
No, I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to think if I thought it was funny.
There was just funny. There was a lot of funny moments scattered, I think. Okay, let's talk. We'll
I'm really racking my brain.
She's like, he says there's comedy.
Funny. It was funny.
But
that's like when you see, I know if humor isn't explicit, I don't catch it.
Okay, so let's
can I just make an observation?
Oh, yes, of course.
I feel like they have only shown us Imrul's storyline to associate him with Jesse messing up.
Basically.
Because I'm like, why did we need all of this? Oh, that's why. And I was like, thanks, Imrul. I really hope we get to know you, but like, so far, it's not much.
They're not really showing much.
Yeah.
I will say, I did like how this episode started with Lindsay and Paige getting along.
Yeah, that was cute.
That
they kind of broke it down their past a little bit.
They did have a past where they would go at each other. It was quite hilarious in their Christmas in July party when Lindsay's screaming, "Why did I walk into a gangbang? Let's talk out here. Come on."
It's like, not a gangbang.
I'm like, and it really wasn't that deep. I don't even think they were talking about her like that. They were more so talking about Carl. But anyways. And then when Paige is like, fuck you, Lindsay, you're a fake ass bitch. Da 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 da. Beautiful moment as well. But it's good to come to.
Brendan's like, I loved reminiscing about their fight.
And it's like, oh, beauty. But it's good to come to a good resolution. And, you know, Paige said she was raised by Lindsay Hubbard because she admires that Lindsay can be dead wrong, but she'll still be like, no, I'm not. Everyone in the room can be like, you are wrong, Lindsay. And she's like, I'm not. And we almost kind of saw that this episode.
Yeah. I like that and I don't like that.
You know, it can be funny if you're not involved.
Watching her do it, but if it was done to you, I don't know. I don't get a good. So if you haven't been listening, I haven't watched this before. This is my first season tuning in, and so far I don't really like her that much.
This was definitely not her best episode, especially.
Well, it just seems like all season she's been producing her storyline, coming up with whatever, is the topic of the day, but then like switching gears when it doesn't serve her enough, essentially. Like, you want it to be, I've moved on, look at my ultrasound, and now you're like, but Carl is potentially nefarious. And I'm just like, so pick one,
Yeah.
And so the whole thing about her being dead wrong and it doesn't matter, it's like, no, that's not cute. You're about to have a baby. You're too grown for, like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I like people who stand up for themselves. So in that attribute, yes, like, speak up for yourself, speak your mind, speak your piece. But if you're wrong, be quiet and say sorry.
You gotta be able to own it and recognize when you're wrong. Because even in this
do
episode,
something about it.
when she was wrong, she didn't apologize.
She's like, oh.
Well, good.
And then Carl's apologizing. And I'm like, what are you saying sorry for? Magdala, don't do that. Me. Carla, don't say sorry. And I'm like,
Carl, stop.
I know I would have said sorry too. I'm sorry, but like, no.
But yeah, so we'll get to that on the way there too. Okay, so Wes joins Jesse and Lexi in the car.
Yes.
And this is where they tell him, oh, Lexi met my parents, all this. And Jesse says in front of it, just like, I wasn't sure, but she wanted to, or something like that. And then like,
and Lexi just kind of looked at him like,
yeah.
Is that how that happened?
And then in the confessional, he's like, no, I didn't want this to happen, but I knew it would smooth over the toe thing and everything. And it's like,
that's manipulative.
It is, which he's very manipulative. And it's just like, why are you going deeper? You're like, oh, I messed up. I know what I'm going to do, even though I'm having second thoughts about this relationship and not sure if I'm that invested. She's going to meet my parents.
Mm-hmm. Commit harder. Show her that you really care.
Right. And then Wes tries to give his advice after they already did it.
I was like, what's your advice for? So when he was doing this, I was like, is Lex? I had to look over. I was multitasking. I was like, is Lexi in the car?
She was.
He's like, so the thing is that, like, sometimes, like, those actions are, like, like, good to do, but, like, you also want to, like, maybe not do them. It's like, because he's kind of alluding to what he did with Ciara.
Yeah, which people compare the Ciara and West with the Jesse and Lexi. There's similarities, but Jesse and Lexi is, like, in super speed.
Yeah.
It's like they're doing everything that took Ciara and Wes months.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Ciara was very hurt and why, I don't know, there's discourse about how if people think the girls aren't being supportive of Lexi. But I'm like, are they being unsupportive?
I didn't see anything.
There was comments on the after show, I think last week, where mostly Amanda, I want to add, but people were lumping in Paige and Ciara. Ciara kind of co-signed, but they were just talking about like, well, Jesse had two choices: either date her within a month or never speak to her again. And it's just like, okay, well, that doesn't give an excuse to be like manipulative and like lie to get them to date.
What? That doesn't make sense. They're like blaming Lexi for giving him two options,
right? Which
that he took.
Amanda said it. Ciara was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. And then Paige says, I respect Lexi, but one thing she'll learn is when they're the right one, you don't need to give something like that, which is true. But there's like, from that, I can see like the discourse of kind of like, okay, that was like a weird comment and that's not that supportive. But this week in this episode, I was seeing it again and I was just like, I don't see it this episode. Like, I feel like they're learning Lexi's side. They're being honest with Lexi.
Yeah.
They don't really know Lexi. Because mind you, I think when the whole pirate party was, that was like the third weekend.
Yeah.
And Lexi wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they only have known her for 2 weeks.
Right. That's true.
And again, they're not even doing anything mean. They're just like, I think people are expecting them to like, oh, you guys like understood Ciara's boundaries and like had so much smoke for West, but you guys aren't having the same smoke for Jesse. And it's like, I mean, they don't really know Lexi. They're learning more what's happening. And like, Jesse's their friend. What are they going to do? Like beat him with a baseball bat before they like even have all the information, or like, you know what I mean? It's
but
like
the after show is filmed after the season.
The after show is after the season, but they haven't, I don't think, seen the whole show. So I imagine maybe they don't even know a lot more of what happened. I wonder if they even got into depth with Lexi, because they kind of do this episode, but not really.
I get what you're saying.
So I'm kind of just like, the after show comments, I do agree, were weird. But then everything else, like in the show, I'm just like, I don't see it. Like, I see them.
They're not, it's not overtly negative. It's a critique. Yes. Lexi giving somebody an ultimatum like that is very intense. It shows her maturity level a little bit. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have to give a guy an ultimatum, but he took it. That's not her fault.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I appreciate about Lexi is that she's honest. I'm not sleeping with you until we're dating. I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. Yeah, you can meet my parents, but I want to be exclusive. Like, she's telling Jessie what she needs and what she wants. Is it a little immature? Sure, but you are agreeing to it. He's going with it. Yeah. So you can't fault her for him going along with it.
No.
What she says is a little crazy. Not crazy. What she says is a little extreme sometimes, but he is going along with it. And what I don't like is that she's being honest with him. He's not being honest with her.
No.
And in his confessionals and behind her back, he's saying all of these other things. She will literally leave the room and they will say, so how do you really feel? Oh man, I hate it here. Like, what?
But then to her, it's just like, oh no, I love this. I want to keep going. It's like, what is happening?
Pick a side. Like, she is being honest with you. Be honest with her.
Right.
So you feel like, oh, if I'm honest with her, she's not going to like me. So she's not for you then, G. Come on.
Right. And that's what Paige kind of says at the end of this episode, where she's like, y'all are already having issues and it's only a month.
Yeah.
Like, but even so, when they all get to the house, it's the guys are inside and the girls are outside. And then the guys, I'm sorry, West is trash, because Jesse is saying to them like, oh, she met the parents, all this. And then West just goes, he was bullied into it. And I was like, huh? And Kyle even is like, how was he bullied? And West is like, well, he didn't want to, and then he did. And then even Jesse goes, well, I had said we should like the first week or something like that. And then, but I maybe didn't want to do it now or something.
But you did it.
That part.
She didn't meet your parents by herself. This is annoying. I hate them both.
You can't keep doing these things and then act like you didn't want to do them, but you still want to be with her. But then she's crazy for being mad that you got your toe sucked and was flirting with a whole nother girl the weekend she was gone. Like, it makes no sense.
Oh, Jessie is so gross. Like, that would really piss me off. Like, I don't have to meet your parents. You're literally putting her in situations and then later saying you regret them. And then Wes is saying you're bullied into it. He's a grown man.
He is. And that's my thing, what I will say too. And to speak on misogyny. Okay. So the girls, even, I understand, again, like I said before, the after show comments, I do believe that was like a weird comment and like they should maybe rethink what was said there. But then this episode, to see people be like, the girls are being mean girls and like turning on Lexi and like all this, but there was nothing I saw calling out West for saying that Jessie was bullied, which is an explicitly mean thing to say about Lexi. Whereas this episode, what did the girls say about Lexi?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, the audience, maybe you're looking in the mirror.
You're like, mean girls. You girls are mean, but you didn't call out Wes. And also Wes for his unsolicited advice after the fact.
Right. Like, what are we doing?
Because even Jesse was like, well, it already happened. He was like, yeah, well, Wes, nobody wants relationship advice from you.
Right.
But no, I get what you're saying. Maybe on the show, the girls' reactions is tough to read seems one-sided because you're right. They don't know her. But I didn't think that they were being explicitly mean to her.
No, because when
they were
like,
even giving her advice
yeah,
after the kickball.
Mm-hmm.
And in this episode, they talked to her.
Because they were talking outside and they're like asking her, which by the way, Ciara looks so good. She had like the denim outfit on. Ciara always looks so good. But anyway, she was saying like, I left kickball crying, but then we got dinner and he gave me flowers and we're okay.
And they're like,
Amanda's like, why were you crying? Because she was in Italy.
Yeah.
And then she explains the whole, she learned about the toe thing and then like the Ciara flirting. And then she even tells Ciara, she's like, it just surprised me because I've always seen you guys as like brother and sister. Like I've never seen y'all flirt. And then it cuts to Paige. I have never seen, if there's anyone less like a brother and sister in this house, it's Jesse and Ciara.
And then they show like scenes of him touching her, them dancing together.
Yes. Which when we look at them, yes, they're touchy, but also it's Jesse initiating 90% of it. So it's kind of like he's going behind Ciara while she's twerking and she's like making a shocked face. She had her leg on him, but then he says the whole comment about, I'm turned on.
Yeah, he always takes it a step further in the flirtation with her.
Yeah.
And then she I can't exactly remember what she said, but she was like, yeah, he was being very flirtatious when you weren't here.
Yeah, Ciara said he turned it up when you weren't here. So for those trying to come for Ciara, she was being honest with her about what Jesse was doing.
Yeah.
And then all the girls were basically saying like, no, like he's probably going to try to, like, you need to know.
Yeah.
He's probably going to do more when you're not there.
Yeah.
Like kind of trying to give her like, hey,
yeah,
this is him.
Watch out.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was really honest and very supportive of them. So
I thought so too. And then it cuts to Lindsay.
Did she say anything else about the brother sister stuff, or that was it?
I think that was it for now. I think. Okay. They were just kind of like, they don't act like brother and sister.
Yeah. And did they have any more conversation? Well, even the whole like, I was crying for 2 days and then he bought me flowers. And she was like, I always give somebody at least a second chance. I understand that. That. But I don't like the... Like, okay, yeah, you did something bad, so you send her flowers, but it's just like, I don't know, it just doesn't sound good. It sounds very manipulative. Mm-hmm. He's just performing. And then you meet his parents, like, I'd be like, I don't want to meet your parents right now. We just kind of went through something. Right. Maybe we need to take a step back, reevaluate, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Which she is 26. So, and I think Paige makes the point, like, she's 26, so she's doing some things that are like young and like what you do when you're dating in your 20s, but like it's up to you. If you like her, deal with it, and if not, then don't.
Everybody's acting like he's in a he's forced in a situation that he literally pursued from the moment she walked in the house.
Yeah. So
did they talk again that day? For this episode? I don't think so.
Who?
Jesse and
Lexi?
Yeah.
Not really. Maybe at the end of it. I think after Shabbat, which we can get into Shabbat.
Okay.
Jesse is doing Shabbat with everyone and, just showing everyone like this side of like what he did growing up and everything like that. He sings a prayer, which I wanted to show this TikTok live. Because someone did basically like making fun of Jesse singing it because he was kind of like popping off and doing these runs.
He did eat it up. Is that West?
Probably.
That's funny.
It goes on for a long time.
He did eat it up. I was like, okay,
he did. He sounded good. I was like, okay, Jesse.
I downloaded his song on my Spotify. Go off, King.
In my back pocket. But before we get to Shabbat, just to say, we get kind of like a foreshadowing to what might happen because the girls, when they're outside, they ask Lindsay about her thing with Carl. Yeah. And she's like, well, yeah, basically, you know, Carl, I found out that he was messaging this girl, like, when we were together. So, like, she's a home-wrecking whore. So I'm probably going to call him out tonight, maybe. I got to find my moment. I was like, all right.
Damn.
Well, there we go. Saying a lot while knowing so little. Oh, does that remind y'all of my TikTok in the comments? Anyways, so we get to Shabbat. And he takes everyone's phone. He's like, no phones at the table, all this. Everyone's saying something good that happened and that maybe what they would want to bring moving forward. Of course, Kyle tells some sad ass story where it's just like, Amanda held my hand
During the flight?
Yeah.
And they were like in economy?
Yeah, and he's like, this is amazing. And it's like, okay.
Do you guys not hold hands?
It's literally like Kyle is like so stupid. Like last season one time, he was like drunk. They were, a few of them were out drunk somewhere, and he was talking to Paige, and he was like, he started to cry, and he was just like, you know, like, it's just sad. Like the other day, like I saw Amanda's phone was there, and Paige was like, yeah. And he was just like, and I was just like looking through it, and she's like, yeah. And he's like, I was looking at her photos, and she's like, yeah. And he's like, there were no photos of me. And Paige was like, and that hurt your feelings. So Kyle wants simple things.
You want her to be obsessed with you. No, that's funny. I don't even take. I feel like if you went through my cat, I only take group like pictures of me and Obi if we're like out or we're gonna go do something or we got dressed up. So it's like, oh, let's commemorate. But I really don't even take pictures of a whole lot. Mm-hmm. That's funny.
So.
And that hurt your feelings.
Kyle's a mess. So it gets to Carl, and he says like, oh yeah, I've decided I'm gonna date more. I went on this one date, and now I want to go on a date with other people. It's because he was telling the guys like he thinks Lil is too zany.
What does that mean?
I guess like quirky.
Yeah.
I guess she brought a lemon.
I saw that. I was like, And then remember she told him he looked like an animal.
A lemur.
Do you like lemurs? Y'all don't have anything in common.
No.
Like, of a girl to be pressed about. This is not the girl to be pressed about.
Right. And he's
There's no chemistry.
Yeah. And he's just saying that. And then Lindsay's like, was it your first date with her? And he's like, yeah, it was. And she's like, oh, really? Because it's come to my attention. You have been talking to her since last summer. And he's like, no. And she's like, yeah, I heard that while we were together, you were still talking to this girl. And he's like, this isn't true. And she's like, this is what I heard. And this is what your little girlfriend's going around saying. So I don't know about that. I heard you met them the parents at a soccer game. And then she slid into your DMs while we were together. And he's like, that's not true at all. Like, no, Lindsay, no. And she's like, show your phone. Show your phone. He's like, it's upstairs charging. How convenient. As if he can't go up the stairs.
She was like, I was with you when you went to that soccer game. Why didn't you tell me about her? He's like, I don't come home from soccer games and say, hey, I met parents of this person.
I met the coolest parents ever. But they're going back and forth, and there's one moment where she's like, you have a terrible judge of character. And he's like, yes, I do. And Paige and Amanda were like...
He low-key ate.
Carl can sometimes drag.
And here goes Kyle. Well, why don't you just get your phone, Carl? Just get your phone. He is such a shit stirrer.
He is. And like, my thing, I was just like, even though I know Lil posted the DMs October, I'm like, did she delete a DM? Like, you don't know. So it's like.
No, and then Jesse is like, yeah, man, we can pause Shabbat, ask God. Jesus said it's okay for you to go get your phone. And I'm just like, both of you, but okay, sure. Right. He's like, fine, I'll get my phone.
So he does, and he hands it to Lindsay. At first he hands it to Paige. He's like, who wants to read? She's like, no.
Don't give it to me. Why did you give it to? I was like, why don't they want to touch his phone?
I don't know. They don't want to be a part of it for some reason. No, not me.
No.
That was too funny.
No, Lindsay's like, yeah, get right here.
And so she starts reading, and someone says to read it, and Wes is like, don't read it out loud. And it's just like, it's not going to be anything bad, Wes. Shut up.
You think he'd openly hand his phone over?
Right.
For her to see something crazy.
Yeah. And then Carl's just like, do you see I'm not lying? And she's like, oh, okay, so it was October. Good.
Because if it wasn't October, we'd have a problem. Because that's not okay. I was like, you're still going?
Right. And she's just like, I didn't do anything wrong. Literally, we broke up 9 months ago. I loved you and wanted to spend the rest of my life with you, but it wasn't right. So, like, I literally, like, I'm praying for you, Lindsay. Like, I hope you heal. I don't need your prayers. And then it's just like...
Well, maybe you do jump into conclusions.
Maybe. And this is the first time Lindsay was a little too stunned to speak. Because it was kind of like, Lindsay, like, here's the thing.
What are you going to say now?
She played this all wrong. What
So
she should have
wrong.
done, I get if you hear something like, they could have been talking while y'all were together. I get that. What I think she should have done, and even if this is acting, but just so you don't look like this, go up to Carl and be like, hey, Carl, I'm hearing this. Like, I know we haven't broken, like, we broke up forever ago, but this is kind of making me feel a type of way. Like, is this true? Can I see your phone? Or something like that. But instead, she dives in head first into the shallow end and is just going off about this.
Yeah.
And she's so wrong.
Even after he was like, yeah, after she saw that she was wrong, she still kept rambling about how wrong it would be. And he was like,
well, you need to tell her to not say this, because, like, if I hear this, then I do need to ask. But thank you for showing the receipts.
this was unnecessary, sis.
It was, and it was pretty embarrassing. I was like, Lindsay, this is
Yeah, then she's just like, yeah, and so okay, yeah, sure, yeah, and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, and then he said something at the end because she was like, that would be really fucked up to do, and he's like, yeah, and I'm telling you, I didn't do it.
So what about it? And she's like, well, good.
No. The way that she was jumping to conclusions is like, it's clear that she has feelings still about all of this. Because before she went to the pool, or when she was at the pool, she was like, yeah, the way that he broke up to me was just so smooth. Like, he had to have somebody.
Yeah,
he's
she
not
was like,
confident.
He's weak as fuck.
Yeah, he had to have somebody behind him to make him feel confident enough to break it with me.
I'm like, this is... When she was saying that, I was like, what is it? Also... Look, I'll be petty. She's like, oh, clearly he's not doing well dating. And I'm like, Lindsay, like, you... Let me not. Allegedly, y'all and your man aren't even together. And
Woof.
I won't.
No, you're mad.
But-
You're mad still. You're trying to find reasons to be mad. And you need to let go and go to therapy.
Yes.
Because... You're trying to find like the way that like all of these feelings were drudged up. It's like you are waiting for an opportunity to be mad at him again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Lindsay doesn't take accountability for her part in anything. She won't even take accountability. Like, she's so mad about the breakup. She's so stuck on she thought Carl blindsided her and broke up with her on camera. She's not willing to acknowledge Carl made the right decision. Y'all shouldn't have been together.
Yeah,
and you did things to contribute to why he decided to break up with you.
He broke up with you on camera. You called him names on camera. You belittled him on camera. You questioned his sobriety on camera. Like, you were so mean to him.
Yes, like...
But he can't break up with you on camera.
No. No, that's wrong. So it's just, she
didn't even read the room. He just said that he's not talking to her anymore. At that point, I would have just been like, okay.
Or even pull him to the side after.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to be this big thing.
After he's like, yeah, I'm not talking to her anymore. She's like, but when you were, it matters because we were together. No. That wasn't the move. And we talked about this last week. Like, girl, you don't know anything. Like, you're doing so much right now.
It's too much when you don't have any receipts. At least get the receipts. The
way she carried on even after the fact, I would have been like, oh.
She's like, I know I'm wrong, but I can't admit I'm wrong.
I know I'm wrong, but here's why I would be mad if this was true. I'm like, girl.
Oh, Lindsay.
And somebody, I think it was Paige's confessional saying, like, I've never seen her shut down before.
Yeah, they were talking after the Shabbat dinner was Paige, Amanda, and Ciara in the bed. And she was just like, I've never seen Lindsay get shut down like this before. Like, damn. And then, so pretty much that was it for that day, I want to say. What's her name? Lexi does call out Imrul at one point.
Oh, I'm mad at you.
Why? Oh, suck his toe, I dare you.
I was like, I wonder, is that what he said?
I think he did. He was the one who told the girl to do it.
Okay.
So I'm like, I get that, I guess, being upset about that.
Yeah.
But then, okay, the next day, Carl's very emotional. And he's like running and he's just like crying in the backyard after. And Paige and Ciara are like, Carl didn't make his bed. Is something wrong with him?
I guess he's very. I was like, he barely didn't make his. It was mostly made.
That's
pillows
what I thought too. I was just like
did production tell you to go look for Carl?
Maybe. And then, but it turns out it's the anniversary of his brother's death, which is sad. And Lindsay had reminded them.
If you knew this, why did you come for his neck yesterday? She's literally like, guys, no, today is this day. You know, without being reminded. Or maybe him being outside reminded you, but I just think the timing is...
Yeah.
Well, no, she has to remember because he said it happened the day before her... He found out the day before her birthday.
And that happened... He found out... So he found out the day of her birthday, but it happened the day before. Because in season 5, he like gets a call early in the morning, the day of her birthday, and he like walks into her room and like tells her all this. So she definitely knows, and also because they've been together, she was a support system for him. It's something that's come up, obviously.
And they were together for a while after that.
At least a year or two, maybe, but they were friends even after.
I think it's crazy that she brought all that stuff up like a day before he was about to have a hard time.
It was a choice. I almost wish she would have like said something to him that day, maybe to acknowledge it, but maybe she didn't. They just didn't show it. But
yeah,
because Carl's like crying to like Imrul, and then West and Kyle go out there, and like his whole thing is just like he's reflecting on his brother and how because his brother was an addict, and like he worries about himself because Carl's sober, and then like he had visited this tree that him and Lindsay planted to like remember his brother. And then he kind of gets into like, you know, it's just confusing because Lindsay was a support system for me in times like this and with the situation. So it's just, I think it was a lot happening and like being in the house with her, and then the anniversary was a lot. So he just needed to like cry it out, which
I felt bad for him.
I did too. I was like, oh, Carl.
I love that I love that everybody was like checking in whether production pushed it or not. I love that they were all checking in on him and like making sure he was good. But yeah, that's hard, man. Grief is like something that just kind of stays with you, even if it's not super strong. But it sounds like a little bit of survivor's guilt. Like, I'm an addict and I made it. He's an addict and he didn't, you know? So that's tough too. But I can also imagine how like it feels. Well, Ciara was talking about this earlier. Like, you're with someone and they're there for you during tough times, and those tough times happen and continue, and they're not with you anymore. So it's tough. Especially since she just like yelled at you,
right, for like no reason the night before.
Reason, and you guys were kind of cool, like not cool, but like you could at least tolerate each other's company. She didn't yell at you before this,
right? And so the final event of the episode is Kyle's DJ thing. Which right? Did anything else happen?
I'm not remembering anything else.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was that day. And so they went to Kyle's DJ thing. They showed a little Kyle DJing. If his music is what was playing, because I don't know if they were playing like royalty free or something. I hang it up. Pack it up.
Yeah, he was talking about
return the equipment.
He's like, yeah, you know, since season 1, you know, and they show him bringing a speaker, and I'm just like, okay.
Anyways,
I don't know.
They're at the thing, and one of the nice things that happens is Ciara talks to Carl, and he's like talking about why he was emotional and like dealing with his brother. And she was like, but you have to think of it as like things are meant to happen, and just like, you know, you're now living this life where you're living a sober life and you're talking about how to do that and like mindful consumption. And like, I loved seeing you at your soft bar opening because you were so passionate. And then she's like crying and they're crying, and it's so sweet. Carl and Ciara have like sweet moments. And Ciara's a very warm-hearted person.
Yeah.
And she's very good to talk to about situations, and she often has like great advice. I remember she would say stuff like this even because her first season was the season where his brother died. So she would like offer advice and stuff like that, because also Ciara's a nurse, so she's dealt with death before.
Yeah.
And so she always has like good advice and like words of wisdom.
Yeah. And honestly, thinking about that, I thought that was a really sweet moment for them. But I also love Carl's vulnerability. Like, to even talk about this, you don't have to, you know. Like, I remember when he when he was outside crying, he was crying facing the house. Like, he wasn't hiding. He just went outside, had a moment, and, you know, he was very comfortable expressing his feelings and stuff. And I really admire that when people can like be open and talk about things that aren't so great. I bet it could relate to people who are watching.
Yeah, I agree. And then Paige and not Lindsay, Amanda are watching. They're like, oh, Ciara and Carl, they would totally be a cute couple. And she's like, she would never, but like they would be.
This is funny because early on I saw Jesse and Ciara and I was like, oh, they kind of cute. And Brandon was like, no. And then I was also like, no. But then I saw Ciara and Carl talking once and I was like, aww. But then we both agreed also no. So, but I think it's funny that the cast has been like clocking things that I was curious about.
Are you in the cast?
And am I getting production spoilers?
Ooh.
Do I work behind the scenes? Are we in New York?
Maybe so. No, I would be paying a lot more for this apartment.
That's really funny though that I like noticed it and then they are noticing it.
Yeah, they're cute together. We'll see, because they're also in the mid-season trailer. It was him saying, "I have a crush on you." So we'll see more of them.
We will see.
There will be developments. But then we cut to the Stooges, West and Jesse. And Jesse's deciding to share with West, you know, I'm hoping I can have a good time with my girl and like our friends that are here. But, you know, she told me the other day, she was like, you've been following a lot of girls since we met. And then West is like, are you kidding me? And he's like, I don't know how you see that or how you monitor that, but like I unfollowed them. And she was like, I'm so happy you unfollowed them. And Wes is like, I don't love that. And I'm like, bitch, you're lucky that's all she did. Also, at least she didn't look. We've been there. We see who you're following. We go to their page. We see if you've commented anything. We see the date of when you commented those things.
I don't do any of that. You do this? Brett. I don't even know how to do that.
What do you mean? How
do you go and see somebody who somebody's recently followed?
Well, I don't know about recently followed. That part, I'm not sure. Following in general.
But how would I... Oh, so you go to like their followers, pick a person that looks attractive and then look to see if your person has commented on it?
Or maybe they commented on one of their posts.
No. I'm not judging. I don't do it. But if he doesn't like it, he can say he doesn't like it.
That part.
Like, you're being a big ass kid. Tell the girl you can follow who you want, and if she doesn't like it, she can kick rocks. Obviously say it nicer, but like, if you're not liking something, say something. She's telling you what she wants. If you disagree, you can say no. You're acting like so immature. Like,
yeah,
she asked me to do something, so I have to do it. Like, you have no agency. Just tell her no.
Right. And it's like, you did it. So now you're like talking shit about it.
It's like he's afraid of her for some reason. I'm like, what is this? Why can't you just be honest with her?
She's very sweet and rational. I feel like if you just were honest, she would accept it.
The way that she talks about what she wants from a person makes me feel like she's open to having discussions, right?
Yeah.
So open your mouth and tell her what you think, and you guys can decide if this relationship is for you or not. Stop doing something she might want you to do and then turn around to your friends and be like, can you believe I did that? Man, she got me in a chokehold. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, Jessie.
Right.
I also think that I don't know how she saw that you were following girls. If you were weirded out by it, you should have said something. What she's saying isn't necessarily cool, but you going along with it is almost like consenting to it. Like,
right. And then he asked Paige, like, what do you think of this? And she's like, look, it's giving 26-year-old energy, but like,
she's 26.
If you like her, then you'll do it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then just don't be with her.
Yeah, because I think Paige was like, he does follow a lot of girls. We know how Jessie is on social media. So, like,
yeah,
maybe
they had said before
away.
about him commenting things and all that. Like, he's very much like that. And Paige even tells us, she's just like, look, checking them, like, who you follow, that's tame. I've gone to people's houses and knocked on doors and said, I know you're in there.
That's
like,
crazy.
That's fine. Like, checking followers, who cares? Just don't be with her then if you don't like it.
Yeah.
And then Jesse's like, look, I thought we were good. Like, we made up and then we were good since. And she's like, but y'all have only known each other for a month and you're already, like, speaking like this. Like, isn't that, like, bad?
It is. Jesse has signed up for a relationship that he is not enjoying. For some reason, he's refusing to speak his mind and say that he's not enjoying it to the person that he is with.
Yeah.
So until then, he will have to continue to be silent until he feels like he can say something. But yes, that's not a great sign. It doesn't sounds like she might have some trust issues and things like that. So you talk to her about it.
Yeah.
If she stood down on it afterwards, then you could be like, no, I'm not interested. Or then we could be like, Lexi is weird.
Right.
But until you do,
you're just like saying one thing to her and then another behind her back. And it's just like,
that's not fair to her
you're
at all.
moving real weird and like shifty and manipulative. So fuck you, Jesse.
That's crazy, Jesse.
That's crazy, Jesse.
I'm really like contemplating, like, how do I... I've never... So Instagram used to have this thing where you could like see if somebody followed somebody else.
I think if you click on followers, sometimes the new followers are the first ones there.
That's funny.
So I think there is
I
that.
actually tried that for myself today because I recently followed Monique
from
the gym.
Oh, yes.
And I wanted to message her, and so I went to my followers to see, and I don't see her, and I'm like, damn.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes, I think you gotta search it. Sometimes your recent followers will show up. Sometimes people who follow you show up right away. Instagram is weird.
So, yes, Lexi, that's not cute, sis. Like, I understand feeling insecure. Finding out who somebody is following is not gonna help.
It's not, and that's just something you live and you learn.
Yeah, like...
This is just a lesson, but also, Jesse, if you don't like it, tell her you don't like it. Don't say, like, unfollow and then talk shit with, like, fucking West on camera.
Oh,
like, that's so
gosh.
lame.
It's very lame. The reunion is going to be really... I'm really curious to see her... Is she reacting to any of this on the after show?
So the after show, they didn't have any this week for some reason.
Oh, okay.
But she did another TikTok where she, let me pull it up. She did it to like a Kendrick Lamar song. And like it was her Watch What Happens Live look. And she low-key slayed.
Yes, know you're a master manipulator and a habitual liar too. But don't tell no lie about me. And I won't tell truths about you.
Okay.
I'm like, pop off, Lexi.
She hit the nail on the head about
She
manipulator.
did.
And you are... I really low-key feel like he is lying on her.
No, definitely. Because she even said so on Watch What Happens Live. Because the main things on Watch What Happens Live, she pretty much kept it classy. I think, too, they're not... And Jesse kind of did this too. I don't think they're explicitly saying they're not together today because they're trying to let the audience like leave a room for the imagination and like maybe save it for the reunion. But even though it's like obvious they're not together. But she basically, a lot of it is just like she's learning a lot of new things he's saying watching.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things like every week she's learning something new. And one thing she brought up, because I guess it was some question about like how she felt about him bringing up to the girls that she was the jealous type.
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, I can't defend that because he knows the context of it. So I'm wondering if we'll learn the context at the reunion or something. So, which makes sense to me. I'm sure there's a lot of context that Jesse often leaves out in his stories.
Is that the only lying thing that she's talked about?
That was one thing. I think there was just like a lot of lies, especially about like the parents meeting and like just certain things that he said, she said. She was just like, it wasn't like that, basically.
I'm listening to West's version of events, and so that's how I know he's lying. Because if West is like, he was basically bullied into it. What did you tell him?
Right.
Right? And then if he's like, that's crazy that she's asking you to do this and do that. Like, did she really?
But how did she? Yeah.
She forced you to unfollow 30 people and said, oh my gosh, gee, Willikers, Jesse, I'm so happy that you did that for me. You care about me so much after you brought her flowers and met her parents.
Right.
You're just trying to please her for some reason, even though you're unhappy. I don't know. How old is he again? 32?
He's like 32. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's trash.
Like, and you were here last season. You literally saw your friend. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. You saw your friend. Maybe he doesn't. Oh, the problem is he doesn't think West was wrong. But you saw West do something and then say something else, and that upset Ciara. I guess you didn't catch the lesson because
there's a lot of lessons not being learned here by those men.
I would not be coming back to make the same mistake.
And to do it times like 10, like, and so quickly. It's like, damn.
Gosh, that's crazy. Anyway.
But, so then the final thing with this episode, the Ciara and Paige. So,
their conversation, yeah.
Throughout the episode, Paige has kind of been saying how she's been feeling very anxious about like Craig and like thinking more about unsupportive. He hasn't really been with like the podcast tour.
Even when he was there, she was anxious around him.
Right. And even at this event, you could tell she's just sitting there just like wanting to like, there's something off. And so she talks with Ciara and Ciara's like, how are you feeling? And she gets into the podcast thing and like the tour and just like, I'm just thinking like he's not being supportive and all this. And she's like, Craig often makes it about Craig and it's giving like hater energy and like all this. And it's like, yes, yes, yes. And then Paige says something too, where, cause they're talking about like, she's like, do you want to move to Charleston? And Paige is like, no, I don't want to. And I've told Craig, I don't want to move to Charleston. I don't want to raise kids in Charleston. I don't want to do this. All different things than what Craig is saying, she said, by the way. Because Craig's a liar. And she's like, I'm the breadwinner. Like, if I stop working, because I think he's expecting me to like not work as much when we have a family and all that, we're not going to be able to live the lifestyle that we live now. And she's like, I'm the breadwinner, so why don't you move to me? Doesn't that make the most sense? And I think that's also speaking to, because a lot of people expected her to move to Charleston because he has a store there. It's like, oh, he's so successful, he's so this and that, like she would have to move there. But she's like, no, actually I make more money than him. So like, shouldn't he then by that logic move in with me or like move to New York? Yeah. So, and then people are pointing out, because the misogyny is real. People being like, comments online are just like, Paige, you're the breadwinner. You're the breadwinner. How are you the breadwinner? Da, 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 da.
I don't think she'd say she was the breadwinner if she wasn't.
Paige, their podcast charts so high and they get so much money for ads. Paige is a spokesperson for Tresemme for a year. She works with designer brands. She has a DSW collection. Like, she's got money. Yeah. Like, she's making money.
Put some respect on her name. No, it really, like, while I was watching this, I mean, he's not in the house this week. Did they have a conversation last weekend? Kind of, where he was like, oh, you're making it seem like I'm not supportive.
Yeah, whenever he was there with the pirate or whatever.
So it sounds like she's been talking to him and he hasn't really been like, the conversations aren't going in the way of resolution.
Yeah, I feel like there's more conversations off camera too.
Yeah, but it just sounds like as they've grown, they've like, their values have changed a lot and the way that they want to live their lives is just not aligning anymore. But yeah, that sucks, man. Like, it sucks when It's like it's kind of with anything. Like you glow up, and people liked you where you were.
Yeah.
And they don't want to see you glow up. They don't want to be happy for your success. They don't want to support your success. They're just like, And it's just like, okay, well then I guess you're not going to be here to enjoy it with me.
Right.
She's been contemplating this breakup for a while.
Yeah. And like we see her processing it, which a lot of people were trying to like say like, oh, like I there's just like discourse online or when it first happened that Paige was like stringing him along or like all this stuff, but like we're watching her contemplate it. We're watching her like things happen and her process it and like come to realizations.
You want her to just end a X amount of year relationship like on a dime,
right?
Like she was thinking about it and weighing in and talking to him.
Yeah. And she says, she's like, oh, I told Craig, like, if you're not comfortable with any of this, you can leave. And then Ciara's just like, but you're putting it on him. Like, what do you want? Like, what? It's easy to tell the other person to do something, but what do you want to do? And I'm like, this is another moment where Ciara's just a good friend, giving good advice, saying all these things. And then she's just like, do you think Craig is your person? And she's like, I don't know. And she called him and broke up with him there. No.
That's where it ends. Well, this episode at least.
Yeah, that's all that with that. And, you know, I'm sure we're going to get more with that. Next week is when we get them crying in the bed about it. Aww. So that's going to be sad.
I didn't watch the preview.
Yeah, there's that. And then next week, it looks like there might be issues with Jesse and Ciara.
Interesting.
Because I guess they're at somewhere and Ciara like touches his arm or something when they're laughing. He's like, oh, don't touch me. And she's like, why? Like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I got yelled at or something. And then she's talking with Paige and Amanda and she's like, bitch, are you going to try to play me like this? Like something like that. So we'll see.
They're literally the same, Brandon. Oh. Jesse hears you were flirting with Ciara too much. So he jumps to conclusions like, I can't talk to her. She can't touch me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. What you did, flirting with her, saying you were horny, laying on her, dancing with her, that's not good. She touches your arm and you want to overreact.
When you're like laughing like that's not the issue.
Oh my gosh. It's like you have to like explicitly explain every gesture and movement and word and syllable to these men or they're not going to listen.
No, they don't get it.
So annoying. Freaking frack.
No, but for real, they're Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Jesse and West. A match made in heaven.
Hell, can't stand them. But crazy. Yeah, that was it for this episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not enjoying it. I'm watching, but it's not like I gotta go watch.
It's not must see. You're like, it's watchable, yeah, but is it amazing?
No, this is an average TV show. It's cool. Yeah. I was curious what was gonna happen, but again, it was just kind of like a little underwhelming. Yeah, like the conflict with Lindsay and Carl was wrapped up. I think there was one commercial break.
Yeah, and they pointed that out. Ciara was just like, there was a beginning, middle, and end all at this dinner.
So I'm curious, but I'm not like rushing to the TV. Yeah. It's a fun watch. I'm not hating it.
That's good.
And I like that, like, we have a lot to talk about because
true. There's a lot to dig into with this.
Like, I'm at the point where I'm getting annoyed with Jesse, so maybe I am more engaged.
It's eliciting emotion, which is good.
Yeah, it is. This week has been like crazy, so I'm just like, I think that's more so.
That. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for this week's episode. Oh my gosh, I want to shout out. We got a review.
Where?
We got a new review on Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Apple Podcasts.
We got this past Monday from April Moores, APRILMOORES. They titled it So Real and Relatable. They gave us 5 stars and they said, every time I tuned in, it's like catching up with old friends. Oh! They're so awesome and amazing. Keep up the great work. April!
Thank you.
We're in the month and we love you. Thank you so much.
April Moores.
That's so kind.
That is so kind.
And we appreciate that so much, April. And if you want to be like April and give us a nice review that we'll shout out, you're more than welcome to, y'all.
Do it.
Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a beautiful review like April just did on Apple Podcasts. You can also comment on the Spotify episodes. You can leave comments if you want to. That's fun. If you want to see our beautiful faces instead of just listening to our beautiful voices, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Shade of It All Podcast. We post clips on TikTok at the Shade of It All Podcast, Instagram at the Shade of It All Pod, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.